Welcome to Aurora. Aurora is FlexRadio's latest HF transceiver. Announced in May of 2025, Aurora is a 500-watt HF transceiver all-in-one package containing the power supply, the tuner, and any bandpass filters required. It covers from 160 meters through to 6 meters with 500 watts of power from 160 through 10 and 200 watts at 6 meters. Aurora is incredibly efficient, using Class D amplifiers in a brand new technology never brought to the amateur radio market before, using something called polar modulation that is so efficient that at 500 watts can run all day long. You're only using 6 amps of house current at 120 volts. Half that if you're running at 240 volts. This means that you can run Aurora off a typical house current, and no special wiring is required to achieve 500 watts power out. Aurora will actually only draw 1.3 amps of house current at 100 watts and under 1 amp of current at 50 watts, making it the most efficient HF transceiver available at almost 80% efficiency. Most other radios today might work hard to achieve 50% efficiency, and usually it's quite less. In fact, generally HF radios create more heat than they create in RF power. Let's have a look at the rear of an Aurora radio. Very similar to the Flex 6600 and the Flex 8600, Aurora has 2 antenna ports. On the 510 model, it's an A-B switch. On the 520 model, you have access to both spectral capture units. And if you're not familiar with that, that allows you to use 2 different antenna systems simultaneously. The 520 model comes with a balanced input connector for external microphone controls, and it also has a second receiving antenna port and a second transverter port. Optional with the Aurora is you can add a GPSDO, which will give you a 10 megahertz reference output, and that connector would be populated here. And then a GPS antenna hooks up here for the GNSS, which is in all models, giving you plus or minus 1/2 hertz frequency stability at 50 megahertz. Running through the rest of the connectors, we see the powered speaker output, the key, the phones, the headphones, and the mic input. We have the push-to-talk connector here for your microphone or foot switch, some specialty connectors, plus TX1, 2, and 3. These are used for hooking up amplifiers or other devices that may need to know when the radio's in transmit. LAN connector here and USB connector there for sending commands to external devices such as OEM amplifiers in Kenwood CAT format. Also known as the Polar Explorer, the Aurora 510 and 520 come in M models, which gives you the typical Maestro front panel display. The 510 has 2 available slices. The 520 has 4 available slices, or VFOs if you're new to the Flex Radio market. It weighs only 18 pounds. Up here in the top of the radio, we have the power supply section running at 96 volts from our AC power. The radio will not run at a typical 13.8 volts, even though it produces 500 watts at 96 internally. And as we slide down here to the bottom into the RF section, we have the antenna matching unit or the antenna tuner. We've got bandpass filters underneath, the low-pass filters as required, and then the PA system underneath. At the bottom of that is the heatsink, and the heatsink is, as you can see, the same size. It's the same heatsink that we use on the Flex 6000 and the Flex 8000, which is incredibly small because this runs so cool thanks to its Class D amplification and the polar modulation. So cool, in fact, that if you run this for 8 hours straight, which we've done multiple times at many Hamfests this year, this radio never gets any warmer than about 80 degrees Fahrenheit or about 27 degrees Celsius, and therefore is quieter It's the quietest radio you will ever use. That's a full 500 watt QRO radio. That's the tour of the Flex Aurora 500 watt transceiver. Mike, VA3MW.